October 12, Brookings, last year as the South Dakota State football team charged towards its first national championship, fans and media that had previously seen the Jackrabbits pick up big wins and rise in the polls, only for it to come crashing down, began wondering aloud, would it happen again? Time equals 400 ms. Greater than the Jackrabbit players heard those concerns, and did not appreciate them. Quarterback Mark Gronowski got out in front of the narrative, all but guaranteeing it wasn't going to happen on his watch, and it didn't. The Jacks rolled to the title with 14 consecutive wins. Time equals 400 ms. Greater than when the 2023 schedule was released and fans saw the name Northern Iowa slated for Hobo Day at Dykhouse Stadium. Something similar happened. Fans who remember the Jacks losing at home to the Panthers, sometimes on Hobo Day, sometimes epically, winced at the thought of it happening again. The visiting team has won each of the last 4 meetings in the series and 8 of the last 11. We've been hearing about it ever since the schedule came out, Gronowski said. None of us are afraid of it or worried about any team. We're gonna attack every single team with everything we got. It's just another game, a faceless opponent. Go 1-0 every single week, that's what we talk about. The Jacks narrowly won last year's matchup in Cedar Falls 31-28. The Jacks had a 28-14 lead, blew it, and after driving deep into Uni territory for a game-winning field goal, Hunter Dustman's 35-yard field goal was wide to the left. The Panthers were flagged for leaping on the kick, however, and Dustman's next try, from 26 yards away, was good. But in 2021, the Panthers used 5 Matthew Cook field goals to hand the Jacks a 26-17 loss on Hobo Day. In 2019, after the Jacks whipped Uni 38-7 in Brookings in the penultimate game of the regular season, the Panthers came back to Dykhouse Stadium 3 weeks later and handed SDSU a 13-10 loss, marking the first time since 2015 the Jacks didn't win a playoff game. The Jacks were routed by Uni 38-18 on Hobo Day in 2017, and lost to them on Hobo Day in 2015 as well. That 10-7 loss came when SDSU chose to go for a game-winning touchdown on 4th and goal in the final seconds rather than try a game-tying field goal, and came up short. Time equals 400 ms. Greater than. Of course, while these games are burned into the memory of many SDSU fans, the current players weren't around for most of them, nor were many of the coaches. It hasn't really come up that much, at least for me, said guard Evan Bjornsson. I think for most of us it's just another game. Another chance to compete and do the best we can. Coach Jimmy Rogers talks about controlling what we can control, and that's what we try to do and zone everything else out. At times the Panthers have given the Jacks problems by surprising them with unusual looks or formations, particularly on defense. One year they came in with an entirely different defense than SDSU had spent the week practicing for. It swung the game in Uni's favor, and the Jacks have been prepared for anything ever since. We played 3-4 teams in 3 out of our 5 games so far, said tackle John O'Brien. I feel like we're pretty prepared for that already, and then their 4-down stuff, I mean, that's what we go against every day in practice. Against our own defense, so we're pretty prepared for that, too.